Welcome to the Audience Converter Podcast, the podcast for converting your audience from strangers to loyal fans. We dive deep and discuss how entrepreneurs, consultants, and coaches can level up their business to help more people in the world. Now here's your host, the creator of the Audience Conversion Method, Kimberly Weitkamp.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Audience Converter Podcast for community leaders. I am your host, Kimberly Weitkamp, a conversion copywriter and marketing strategist. And the last few weeks, we have been talking about the stages of awareness when it comes to your audience. Now, just a brief reminder, your audience is not everybody. Remember, when we talk about your audience, we are talking about the best fit people to work with you. Not only are they the ones who can benefit most from working with you and get the most and get the best results from your solution and the approach you take, but we're also talking about the people that you yourself have decided are the right people you want to work with. So remember, this is your business. It is your company. It is your approach. So you get to decide who are the best people to work with, not just whoever comes in the door. So when we talk about these particular people, these make up your audience. Those are the people that, you would love to have more of in your community, to work with one-on-one, to have as part of your group programs. But they're all at different stages of awareness. In past episodes, we've talked about the unaware stage. Those are people who don't know they have a problem. We've talked about the problem-aware stage. These are people who know they have a problem, but don't know the different solutions out there. We've talked about solution-aware stages. These are people who know there are several different solutions and they're kind of comparing to see which is the best fit for them. And then in our last episode in this series, we talked about product-aware. Those are people who know which solution they want to use. They have chosen the solution that they're going to go with, and now they're looking for a particular product to fulfill on that. So that's where you start using specific language around your particular offer, your particular framework, the way you deliver things, all of that. And today we're talking about most aware. Those are the people who are literally looking for a buy button. Maybe they're doing a little price comparison, but for the most part, they're just like, hey, I know what problem I have. I know what solution I want to use. I know which product is probably the best fit for me. Now it's all about hey, give me the button to click, right? Give me the button to click. So once people reach this stage, those are those magical 3%. There is a common rule or common perception that no matter what industry you're in, only about 3% of people are ready to buy, right? 3% of people are literally just like, give me the offer. I'm going to say yes or no. And everybody else is kind of in those other stages. So of course, most of your marketing material should be speaking to those other stages. Why? Because most of your audience falls into those other stages. You don't want to miss the opportunity that comes to you when talking to those people who are most aware, those who are just looking for a buy button. One of the things you can do for this, for example, is take note of what people interact with when they're on your email list, for example. So if they joined your list, most likely they joined at the problem or solution aware stage, and then you have slowly nurtured them and brought them to that next stage or the stage after, right? So you've brought them to being product aware, or you've brought them to being most aware. Once people are there, based on their interactions, like if they keep clicking different links or opening messages that relate to one particular aspect of what you do, clearly those are the people who are highly engaged. Those are known as those hot leads, right? They're on fire. If you look at like a CRM that gives you little fire symbols, which I find a little strange. But those are the people who they're ready, right? They're ready. You just need to tell them, this is what you get. Here's how to buy it. This is what you get. Here's how to buy it. So the messaging that you use is not building up anticipation. It's not going to be messaging like, is this you? Do you feel this way? It's not even going to be messaging that's around, hey, do you struggle with this problem? Because those people have already moved past that messaging. They know that. They know they're the right people to work with you. They know you've got a solution for the problem they have. And they're really just looking for what we call the offer. So what we can talk about with this, for example, is if you're in the middle of a launch, the phrasing you might use in an email on the cart close email, for example. So cart closes, if you don't know, those are the emails that go out on the day your cart closes. And they're very, very different in structure and in messaging, mostly because people have now heard about the product for usually several days, if not several weeks. So they're pretty aware. They're those most aware people. Now, if people haven't been opening that message, though, they may still need a little bit of convincing. So, one way for you to test this kind of approach is to create two separate emails. One goes out to anyone who has opened a message or anyone who has clicked a link, for example. Or you can even further segment if you really want to. It's a little bit advanced tactics here, but we'll go ahead and go into it. What you can do is create messaging for people who have clicked at least to the sales page, right? And you can be tracking that the whole time, right? Your CRM has that ability. Did somebody click on this link? Did they visit that page? So the message you put out to people who have at least been to the sales page, who probably have an awareness of what's in your course, what the price is, when the deadline is, that messaging is going to be different than if somebody has only opened emails in the past, but they haven't actually viewed the sales page, or if they have yet to open anything within your sales funnel. You have two options. And some people will choose to do this just to keep their deliverability really great. And that is they'll stop sending messages to people that is on that last day who haven't interacted at all with the campaign. Because the likelihood that you're going to move them to that most aware, yes, I'm ready, just give me a button to click stage within a couple of hours before you close your cart is not exactly very high. So it's really important for us to kind of understand not only who is in our audience and who our ideal clients are, but also to really understand, where are they on that stage of awareness? How much do they know about us, about our solutions, about the way we work? And how can I craft messaging that speaks directly to those people? Because oftentimes people need information. They need more to be able to move from one stage to the next. So that's where knowing the stage of awareness is really powerful. And there's so many different ways for you to figure out what stage your people are in. And we can talk about that on a future episode. But what I really want to kind of drive home for everybody today is that when you have somebody who's most aware, you're no longer in that quote unquote convincing stage. You don't have to convince anybody of anything. They know they like what you have to offer. They're looking for the buy button. So oftentimes what happens is we kind of talk people out of it with our marketing because we assume that they're in an earlier stage. We use messaging, we use language, we use phrases and content that's talking to people who just know they have a problem and they haven't really decided on that solution yet. When someone's in that most aware stage, they don't need all of that. And so they might actually check out. They might stop listening, stop reading, stop interacting if they're getting that kind of messaging because that's not them. They've already made that decision internally. They've already taken that leap in their minds that, you know what, this is my problem, but this is the solution I want. And your product is the one that I think can actually help me. So when creating any kind of copy around the idea of people who are most aware, like for example, once somebody reaches the shopping cart, right? In the shopping cart is going to be very, very clear, very straightforward, not a lot of extra language, maybe one or two reinforcing statements about why this is a good decision. But the copy that's going to be on your shopping cart is different than the copy on your sales page because people who are on the shopping cart, they've kind of moved to that 3%. Now, you'll still have a lot of cart abandonment, and that's where you come in and create cart abandonment sequences. Basically, if somebody gets all the way to putting in their credit card, but they don't do it, you can tag them and send them follow-up emails saying, hey, this offer is ending, that type of thing. But the copy that's in that sequence is very, very different than the copy that is going to be in a sequence, for example, to get people to invest in a free gift, to invest their time at a free webinar, or anything like that. So what I want you to think about right now is who do you have in your audience who's most aware, who's ready for that buy button? And if you don't know, I would put out a survey to your list. I want this to be your action item. Put out a survey to find out where your people are. Now, of course, you're not going to ask, hey, are you product aware? Are you solution aware? But ask questions like, have you heard of this particular problem? Do you self-identify as this particular person? Just send out a quick message to your list. Be like, hey, I'd love to know more about you, who you are, what you do, and how I can help you. And those answers will give you an idea as to the composition of the people on your list. And also it'll give you an idea as to what stage people on your list are at. How many people are ready to hear about your product, or how many people are just ready to hear about your solution. And it's going to be really powerful for you. And I do want you to remember, right, there are so many different ways to approach people to bring them into your world, right? To bring them a step closer to joining free communities, paid communities, group programs, whatever it is. And the starting point really is for those people who are problem and solution aware. And often I find that there is a disconnect. Some people will be using most aware messaging, people assuming that people understand exactly what you do, but they're actually talking to the problem aware people. So if you have struggled with figuring out exactly how to phrase things, what messaging to use, what copy to use, what approach to take for people to get them into your world, right? To get them onto your list, to get them listening to your podcast, to get them into your membership group, whatever that looks like. If you've struggled to get more people in, or you're getting people in, but they don't really seem ready to ever take that next step, I would invite you to join me at Audience Conversion Live. We are going to be creating those first few steps, and it's really powerful. And a big portion of it is knowing what stage people are in. And I'm going to show you how to decide where people are at, how to figure that out, how to define your ideal clients. But most importantly, not only are you going to really know who you're talking to, which is some clarity that a lot of business owners never actually reach, but also we're going to create it. You're going to write your gift. You're going to write your landing page. You're going to write the emails that are going to get those first few steps of engagement, so that when you hit publish, you know the copy and the words and the messaging you've put out there are actually going to be talking to the right people. You can get all of the details at theaudienceconverter.com/live. I would love to have you join me. And thank you so much for listening to this episode and this series on the stages of awareness and the importance of having them with your marketing campaigns and understanding exactly where your audience is at. Remember, until next time, keep calm and determine where your audience is in the stages of awareness.
Thanks for listening to the Audience Converter Podcast. For more information and important links about today's show, or for access to our website, visit theaudienceconverter.com. Take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.